The region's only nuclear power station marks 30 years in service today. It opened in 1983 and since then has provided thousands of jobs for those living in the region.
Some question the safety of nuclear power, with campaigners calling for all the country's nuclear power stations to be closed. But those running the Hartlepool plant say 3 decades of safe operation and job creation is something to be celebrated. Frances Reid reports.
3 decades old and still providing enough power for 2 million homes every second of every day.
It's 30 years since we started generation. We started generating in 1983. We employ about 700 people every single day, and when we're on outage for a period of time as we did during the year, we employ about 1,200 people here every day.
And for the past 30 years, one of those employees has been Keith. Today he's training new apprentices to run the plant.
I do remember my first day training up. I think there was something like 10 of us all joined at the same time. My children have grown up with me working here. Very, very important for Hartlepool as well, to have the security of a long-term employment.
It means everything. I feel really lucky to have this job. I mean, I've got lots of friends who are currently out of work, and there's countless amounts of experienced people here. There's the amount of information they can pass down to you. It's world-class training.
6 new apprentices are taken on every year, and jobs here are secure. Hannah is only 25 and moved from Peterborough to work here as an engineer.
Your outside perception of the industry is that it's very male dominated, and it must be very intimidating for a woman coming in, especially a young woman. But actually, you come in here and they're trying so hard to get the right people and the right talent in. It doesn't matter if you're young or female. Some of the stories from when the station was first being built, when it was first coming online, they're just fantastic, and I can create my own stories to be telling people in 30 years, really.
Nuclear power stations are not without controversy and have been the subject of much debate, especially since the Fukushima disaster in Japan 2 years ago. Many campaigners insist nuclear power has too many risks, but those who run the plant in Hartlepool say they want others to understand what it does and why they insist it's safe. A visitors' centre will open here later this year. Frances Reid, ITV News, Hartlepool.
30 years on, what the Queen would have told the nation on the eve of World War III.
And finally, the text of a speech by the Queen that could have been the last she ever made to her nation was released today. It was prepared 30 years ago for use if all-out nuclear war was declared.
In it, the Queen called for her brave country to survive against great odds. Thankfully, she never had to use those words. Nina Nana reports.
They are the focus of evil in the modern world.
Tensions between Washington and Moscow were escalating.
The Pershing could hit Russian targets within a few minutes.
Nuclear war presented on TV screens as a real threat. And as the peace protesters dug deep at Greenham Common, Margaret Thatcher's government was preparing for the worst. This is the speech made public today, which a Whitehall official wrote for the Queen to address her subjects in the event of World War III. The speech was part of a top-secret war exercise imagining a chemical attack by the Soviet Union being met with a nuclear strike by NATO.
Not for a single moment did I imagine that this solemn and awful duty would one day fall to me. No, we don't know who wrote it. We know that the Queen definitely didn't write it. We know that no one in the royal household would have seen it.
Over the past few decades, the records have shown that these disaster exercises were held every couple of years or so, but 1983's was the first one to mention the Queen. So she's imagined talking personally of her son Andrew in action, of the terrors that lie in wait, of dangers greater by far than at any time in our long history. At the time, the Queen would have been unaware of the speech written for her, but the then Defence Secretary said today he was confident it would never get used.
Those of us involved certainly never actually believed it would come to a nuclear exchange, because the Soviet Union was run by cold, calculating people who knew perfectly well that the use of nuclear weapons would be the end of them.
It is a Queen's speech we are glad we never had to hear. Nina Nanar, ITV News.
You are under the hospitals that are going to be able to do this treatment, so tell us what it is and about the changes.
Well, proton beam therapy is another form of radiotherapy. It's not new, it's been around for decades, but only in very small centres, small number of centres around the world. Proton beam therapy, unlike X-rays, targets the tumour much better, so you're not irradiating the normal tissues as much as you would be with X-rays. We know with X-rays, when you have a chest X-ray, the ray goes through the body, so there's a lot of normal tissue getting some radiation dose. With proton beam, it stops the tumour and doesn't go forward.
And
I can't seem to face up to the facts. I'm tense and nervous and I can't relax. I can't sleep cause my bed's on fire. Don't touch me, I'm a real live wire. Psycho killer, just to say, better. Run, 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 run away. Psycho killer, just to say, better. Run, 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 run away. You start a conversation and you can't even finish it. You talk a lot, but you're not saying anything. When I have nothing to say, my lips are sealed. Say something once, I say it again. Psycho killer, just to say, better. Run, 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 run away. Psycho killer, just to say, better. Run, 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 run away. Psycho killer, just to say, better. Run, 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 run away. Psycho killer, just to say, run, run, run away. It's a new song called A-Bomb in Wardour Street. Where the streets are paper and blood, cataclysmic outlaw towns. Through head we got Indian air, strictly knockout, deadly sound. No one out to it, this is number zero. That's the name of me, Water Street. There must be more. Stop to my ears. I upon my lips.
To quote Muhammad Ali, from floating like a butterfly to stinging like a bee, hopefully without the stinging, I'm off to meet some of wildlife's city slickers.
Northumberland Street, Newcastle. Home to more than 50 retailers, it's the must-visit destination for city shoppers.
To stinging like
Northumberland Street, Newcastle. Home to more than 50 retailers, it's the must-visit destination for city shoppers. And up above one of Britain's largest department stores, it's really buzzing.
Ian, hello, what are all these bees doing here?
Well, these bees are bringing in.
I'm visiting Newcastle upon Tyne. Home of the Tyne Bridge and a well-known brown ale, and with a reputation for a lively nightlife. I'm viewing the property just over a mile from the city centre. Well, this area of Newcastle